Welcome everyone to Haven of Horror. As always, I am subject, and we have Robert, Eli Roth, Wild. That's a
Yeah,
mouthful. Um, Robert, this Thanksgiving, as you said in the chat, there will be no leftovers, which is horseshit
that's
because there are always leftovers.
this is true. Yeah, welcome. We're here to watch Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, right?
Yes, that is a horrifying special.
It is.
Charlie
It's
Brown
it's
is.
anxiety inducing.
I am convinced Charlie Brown just like exists in hell. And also,
He
side
does.
tangent that I meant to say before we went live, but I rewatched that Harry Potter reunion special today.
Oh,
Man, that was sad. Just when they get
yeah.
all the people that have passed away, and then it cuts to
I
Robbie
know,
Coltrane.
and it's recent too. It's what, like 2 years ago? Like,
Yeah, and that was
fuck.
right before he died.
hmm
I didn't realize
No,
Narcissa had passed away.
yeah, that was a shocking one. That really came out of nowhere because she wasn't that old.
Yeah,
But yeah, good little reunion special. There's not a lot of like behind the scenes stuff. It's just hanging out with the cast, watching them
just
talk with each other,
reminiscing.
reminiscing. Yeah, it's
Helena
enjoyable.
Bonham Carter and Daniel Radcliffe are hysterical.
Yeah, I remember the bit with her teeth.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's fun.
no, they had such good chemistry. I wish he'd been in those movies more. But
Yeah,
anyway,
sure.
my Harry Potter fandom aside, so we're not here just to watch the movie. We are also going to watch the fake trailer that inspired this movie. So get it up on
Yes,
YouTube at timestamp 0. Uh, Robert, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm surprised it's still on YouTube because there's nudity and stuff here, but it'll get taken down at some point. But for the time being, this is
Dawn of the
accessible,
Dead is
easy to
on
watch.
here, and that is gory nudity
How?
copyright. Uh, in 3, 2, 1, go. I think this is a perfect trailer, and
It's great.
I would watch this movie.
Me too. Although I mean, it's obviously a mix of a lot of different things. This kicks off with the Halloween 2 homage with the POV in the house with the old lady. Great little gag here. And this sequence, we'll get to it in the movie, is replicated great with the whole parade and the mascot. Like a lot of this is done very close, and it's awesome. So the first time you ever watched this trailer, what was it in Grind? Was it when you saw Grindhouse, the double feature? Did you see that theatrically? When did you first see
No,
this?
just recently actually. Austin kept telling me about it, and I was like, "Fine, I'll watch it." I was like, "Oh, this is like amazing." I think I actually no, I saw this after I saw the actual movie.
Oh, cool.
This is the sequence I think is better in this trailer.
I do too. This version goes a little further, but it's still I think effective in the other one. But the one thing they kind of nail, besides obviously 80s slasher movie trailers didn't have this much core nudity, what they do nail is the weird pacing and the lack of transitions. It's just here's a scene, here's some voiceover. It's very authentic in how like grungy and clunky it
And I
is.
like how this looks.
Mhm. You love how Eli Roth's hairy legs look.
No.
No, and I think at the time, of course, I'm probably going off of like one thing one person said. But I remember people saying like, "Oh yeah, all those Grindhouse trailers are good, but except for the Eli Roth one, that one sucked." And I don't know if that was the reputation, but I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I still have not seen Grindhouse either film. I've just seen this trailer
Okay, I
and
have
a
seen
couple of the
Grindhouse
other
at this
ones.
point. You'll
Thanksgiving.
come home for the holidays.
Oh god. My favorite, I think, comedic bit in that is when Michael Bean's there for no reason, and he said the guy who tastes like blood. He's like, son of a bitch. So good. One wonderful fake trailer.
All right, we're gonna queue up the movie. Bear with us a second, folks.
It's currently on Netflix. That's why we're doing this. It's easily accessible. So figured we'd do this to tie into the holiday, and since we're taking the holiday off this week, so this is kind of an extra commentary stream. And I mean, you can still do like a solo stream at some point this week if you want. I didn't know
I
if.
can't hear you. I'm switching out my headset battery. You're gonna have to wait a minute. Oh, you got the movie up?
Just one more second.
Robert struggles with technology, folks.
That's true. But I was just saying that I'm taking Thanksgiving off, so there's just kind of an extra commentary stream to tie into the holiday. But I mean, you can still do a solo stream at some point this week. I didn't know if you had anything on the agenda
I
that you
might
might
play
do
some more
as a
Dead Island
solo one.
2. I've been
Oh,
doing
that'd be
that
cool.
a little bit. Yeah, it's a fun game. Nice little uh, open world zombie game.
Dead Island 2 is the one with that amazing trailer, right?
No, so that's Dead Island 1.
Okay.
That everybody's like, oh my god, the trailer. And then the game was like not as good. Uh,
Uh,
2 is the one that like we waited and waited and waited. Switch production studios and studios. But it finally came out and everyone was like, yeah, that is a pretty solid game.
cool.
It's an open world
I
LA,
should check
which you
that.
don't see a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you ever get a PS5,
Yeah.
so we can play the game. Uh, Draven G. Side note: I really hate how Netflix has some movies locked behind the ad-free plan. I did not know that that was a
Oh,
thing.
sorry. That sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, that does suck.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Netflix is the one where I think I'm paying for the second most expensive the one without ads, but I don't think I have 4K. I don't. There's so many fucking Netflix tiers now.
I like how you
God.
say that. There's 3, unless they made more. Yeah, I'm paying for the 4K
Yeah,
one, but I will probably have to cancel it soon, at least for a while. All
gotcha.
right. Are you at timestamp 0?
Yes, sir.
All right. Draven has the DVD. Way to go.
Oh, fancy.
Robert is very happy. All right. In 3, 2, 1, play. I have seen this twice now. I watched it on my own the minute it hit Netflix, and then I showed Noah.
Oh, nice. I saw this theatrically. I had a fun time.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants. All right, Robert.
Yeah.
Show us the goods. You said you got new movies.
Oh, I did. I don't have. Well, one I don't have with me. But I did finally
You
get Godzilla
dirty son
minus
of a
one on
bitch.
Blu-ray. uh,
Nice.
I wasn't able to get like the really big fancy collection, but it still has a couple special features on it. I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm just glad to own it. And then so for this week's Black Friday deals on Amazon, I picked up the weird Al Yankovic story movie with Daniel Radcliffe. I
I
think it's
think
a
you
very
mean Harry
enjoyable
Potter.
comedy. Yes, Harry Potter as Weird Al. And then this will make you happy. I'm building up my Saw collection.
Hell yeah.
Look at that. I got the first 7 and X. And X, I got the Blu-ray, but it came with this beautiful slipcover.
Oh, I like that.
Really cool. Yeah, this is a franchise where for me with movies, I'll upgrade to 4K, like the ones that I really love. I'm a bit more particular with what I get on 4K. So I got the Blu-rays for now. Looking forward to going through the rest of these.
It's
But
a 7 film collection and not an 8 film.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. I went with this because A, it includes the digital copies, and B, the 8 film collection also has the DVDs for some reason. So it's like 9 discs packed into one of these.
Like that set that I have.
So like the one you have, the Nightmare. So yeah, I went with this for
Now you just got to
convenience.
get Jigsaw and Spiral. Raven says
Yeah,
TriStar. That's a logo I haven't seen in a while. Don't they? I've,
yeah,
I've
they're
seen them
still
before.
around. And there's Gina Gershon and Patrick Dempsey.
They have the holiday slasher. Those kind of died with the 80s.
That's true. Yeah, and then in the 2000s, we got the remakes like the My Bloody Valentine and Silent Night, and those didn't do great. But I'm glad
Which
I
is
have
a
this.
shame because I think that My Bloody Valentine remake is legitimately great.
It's fun. I think this guy's great. I don't know this actor's name, but who plays the dad of this family? I want to see him in more stuff.
That's a guy I see in different things. He's on one of those like USA shows at the height of the USA network.
Oh, gotcha.
Suits, I think.
That makes sense. Yeah,
He
I never saw
just
Suits.
screams douchebag. Like
Oh, totally. And it's nice to see Patrick Dempsey in a horror flick again after Scream 3.
who is he in Scream 3?
The guy who's like kind of Cindy's love interest, like the cop guy,
Oh, the guy that
who you
Scream
also think
6
might be
randomly
Ghostface.
has her murder or Mary. Those are very
Yeah,
different things. I would not have recognized him. So this just immediately sets the tone of how insane this movie is.
I love this Black Friday sequence.
I have been to Black Fridays. They were never like this.
No, I mean there's a few real notorious ones. Like there have been, I think, a couple people who have been trampled to death. Like obviously the movie takes it up to an 11, and it this was never the norm, but there were a few instances back in the day of
The
like
one
some
thing
really
that
insane
I remember actually
ones that got out of hand.
seeing is I went to Walmart, and that's actually where I got Evil Dead 2 on Blu-ray at the time. It was the 20th anniversary
Oh,
one.
cool.
And people were literally chucking things over the crowd. Like I looked up and I think it was like a toaster or something was like flying overhead.
Yeah, that's like and of course, it's up to you, the viewer, if this is a criticism or not. Like, we don't do Black Fridays like this anymore, where it's literally like the night of Thanksgiving, and you
No,
have
they
these
haven't done
huge
that in a long
crowds and
time.
say, yeah, this hasn't really been a thing in years. But for the sake of the satire, and the gore, I think it's totally worth it because this movie isn't full horror comedy, but there's enough humor in it that I think it works.
I don't think it's a criticism. If I did have one, it's just make it like a more of a bit of a period piece. Like this is emulating as much as it's emulating 80s horror, it's also emulating 2000s horror. Just make it an
Yes,
early 2000s movie.
that's fair. You could have. Yeah, I mean, they at least do some fun. They at least do some creative stuff with the smartphones. So I get why they set in monitor, but you could have set this mid 2000s. But the reason why Eli Roth didn't want to go for like an 80s period piece, like an old grindhouse slasher movie, like his fake trailer was going for, is he viewed this film as the remake of the old insane grindhouse movie. Like this is the modern remake of this movie that doesn't exist, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the vision he commits to, and I think that's kind of fun. And like you
Um,
said, that this could have been set a little earlier, but what I really enjoy about this movie is it really does feel consistent with, like I said, the Silent Night remake, the My Bloody Valentine remake, the Friday the 13th remake. I think tonally this fits very close with those slasher movies. So if you like those, this is worth checking out.
I'd like to see him do more stuff like this and less Borderlands.
Yeah,
I mean, I said from the moment that he was announced as the director, that is the wrong guy.
and apparently because Borderlands was such a nightmare to make and took so long, I think he just left and some other guy came to finish it. Like,
I
no,
think some
he
other guy
makes
did like the reshoots.
the reshoots. So Eli Roth makes Borderlands and then makes this movie, and then this comes out a year earlier.
Mhm. For Borderlands, you need like a James Gunn,
Yeah, that would have been a good fit.
someone who can do the
And
cosmic stuff but also make it wacky and heartfelt.
mhm. And in one of Eli Roth's interviews talking about this movie, he said like he wanted to make an old school fun slash movie, and he had a great time making it. And if he never made another movie, he'd be fine because he was very happy with the experience making this. And I think he was really talking about Borderlands and what a nightmare that was.
I mean, this. I think this is his best movie.
I haven't seen much of his work out of this, but you're not alone in that.
Cabin Fever is good, but it is also a product of its time.
Mhm.
Oh, I can't wait to show you that movie. That has one of the most insane setup payoffs of all time.
One thing I wanted to ask you about with this is most of the characters aren't particularly likable, and that's kind of by design because, like I said earlier, this is harkening back to like those 2000s slasher movies where you're supposed to hate the characters and want them to die. And that's kind of a flaw in some of them, but here I feel like there's at least a story reason for it.
I'm also just not in that camp that like hates when the characters are unlikable, so that you root for them to die. I don't mind that. It can be fun.
Mhm. And if I'm gonna nitpick, this lead girl, I think she's fine. Like, I think the performance is fine. She's not a great final girl. If I was gonna actually nitpick this movie,
No,
like
I
she's
can't even remember which
serviceable.
one is the final girl.
Yeah, exactly. But you compare this to something like Sienna in the Terrifier movies, and that's like an instant fan favorite. Who I bring up constantly.
Yeah. What do you like her?
Sienna's great.
That's true.
And like I said, some of these characters are meant to be very douchey, but that they are kind of responsible for escalating this riot. So it does serve a purpose.
Yeah, no, I love how absurd this is. Like they have security
Mhm.
barriers.
And not enough security. So there's like two guys working here.
Okay, so I do have a nitpick here. The subtitle. Somebody said those are our Furbies. If this takes place in 2023, those people do not care about Furbies.
I noticed that too, and I don't remember hearing that before.
Furbies haven't been popular for 30 years. I remember I used to have some.
I had like one.
They remind me of the Mogwai Furbies.
Oh, totally. But what is it like a free waffle iron? They're gonna be killing each other over. Ah,
No, yeah, I
greed.
even the security guys like fuck this.
No, I love this opening. I think it's great. And speaking of Black Friday, I do still need to watch that Black Friday zombie movie that Bruce Campbell's in.
Yeah, I
I've
was
heard it's
just
all
looking
right.
at that. How do you arrest an entire town? Because I feel like they should all be arrested.
Yeah, I only did because like you said, we stopped doing Black Friday sales that were this insane 15 years ago.
Like
The
that poor
one
security guy, nobody cares.
god, I love how violent this is. I think it was 2012. Me and my sister and my mom like camped out the previous night, and that's when I got my PlayStation 3, some Blu-rays, and the entire Smallville series on DVD because each season was like $5 or something. So that was a good experience. Like it was crowded, but not insane like this. That was 2012.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would always shop the movies. Like I got the TMNT trilogy for like $5 on Blu-ray.
oh, cool. This is my favorite bit. The guy dying with the waffle iron, and the lady's gonna come and pull it from his dead hands. So good.
At least that guy's trying to help.
Yeah. No, he's again not a super developed character, but he's one of the few you're supposed to like actually like.
Oh,
Yeah, like dude, like someone's brutal. So funny.
the sad thing is, this is insane. I'm just cynical enough to believe that people could do this.
Yeah, I mean it's at like not to this level, but it's gotten close. Like there's a few ugly examples.
Oh God.
This was the most brutal moment for me in the theater. I was like, like when she gets scalped. Oh,
There's a
Jesus.
scene like that in House of a Thousand Corpses that makes me extremely uncomfortable.
Oof.
Draven, nowadays everyone pretty much waits for Cyber Monday, so where's our Cyber Monday horror movie? It's
That's already dated. We don't even do like I got Black Friday sales now. That's in a
yeah.
week. Like Cyber Monday's already not a thing anymore.
Which honestly, I'm kind of fine with. Like that's just how it should have been the moment like online infrastructure was good enough.
Yep.
I'll never forget my first Black Friday in actual retail was I worked at a Verizon call center,
Oh god.
and it was the year the iPhone X came out. It was a
Oh.
fucking nightmare.
Oh god. And I did love that title card when he shoots into the ceiling. And nice little reference to the trailer.
Yeah, so like all of these people should be in jail.
Maybe to the victims.
Eli Roth.
So, how do you feel about John Carver as a slasher? How many movies do you think it'll take to kind of bump it up to, some of the classics?
They got to get more creative with the kills first.
That's interesting because I think there's some really creative kills in this.
We'll see. I also don't remember a lot of them, so we'll see how it goes.
Let's see. The issue is, I love his look. I love the mask. I love the name. I love the hacks. The issue is it's a whodunit where the killer can't talk, so that does deprive you of a lot of
It's also not
personality.
decidedly supernatural, so I don't know how you could
Right.
justify keeping him coming back.
Mhm.
Although that didn't stop John Kramer, so I guess I don't know.
The next one will be Thanksgiving X. It'll be like set between the events of this
John
movie.
Kramer died 7 movies ago. He's still around.
I do love this contrast though with a lot of these side characters. Like this lady we saw is like this horrible monster, and now she's just a normal person and doing her shit job.
Yeah, she should be in jail.
Yeah.
You gotta ask Noah if this is a realistic Black Friday. He's from this general area,
Mm.
or at least what it's pretending to be.
And like I said before, I'm a sucker for a holiday horror movie. They have a lot of fun with the atmosphere and the decorations and stuff.
This waitress, though, you know who she reminds me of? The waitress in Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah. Except that one's likable.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. She is a great. What is this? V for Vendetta?
Yes. No, this is an atmosphere to it that a lot of horror movies at the time, slasher movies especially at the time, just didn't have.
Hmm. Yeah, between this and the Terrifier movies, it's nice that we're getting some of these back. And we also had a good thing going with Halloween until they got up their own ass and tried to be
They
about.
lasted one whole movie. And I mean, I like kills, but it's a downgrade.
Oh yeah.
When are we going to get Halloween versus Thanksgiving?
I don't know. That's also not a great matchup because you don't want two killers who like don't really talk going up against each other. So,
Yeah, but imagine the holiday, the fight, the battle of the holidays.
good point.
We'll get Rob Zombie's Michael Myers. He can talk.
We'll throw Billy from Silent Night and Deadly Night in there.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Or no, that's Gotham. It's Punish in Silent Night.
Punish. No, Naughty. That's the
Naughty. That's it.
But yeah, I love how much of an asshole this guy is, and he surprisingly survives this movie, which makes me wonder if he'll be in the sequel.
It's funny because between this and Scream or Smile too, I've been seeing a lot of like TV actors pop up in horror movies.
Oh, cool.
Are you? I forget. Are you a house indie guy?
I'm not. Like, I'm familiar with it, but I've never really watched
An actor from that showed up in Smile too, and I was like, oh hey, I love house indie. I also don't remember who the killer is, so it might be kind of a first semi-blind reaction.
Oh, weird. I was gonna ask how predictable you thought the reveal was.
Well, we'll find out because I don't remember.
Because I called it pretty early on, but you know it didn't ruin the experience for me or anything.
I also never try to figure those out.
I when I got into the Scream movies, that's when it clicked. I'm like, oh, I really love whodunit slasher movies, and that's for me growing up on like shows like CSI, crime procedural shows. So I'm like, oh, I like really love whodunit slasher movies.
So I have this old friend of mine that we watch movies all the time whenever we can, and she was getting into horror. So I started watching horror with her. I was like, we should watch Scream. She was like, no, those look really stupid. I'm like, what? So I pushed, over the next few months. Turns out she was thinking of Scary Movie, not Scream. And I said, you are never allowed to refuse a movie that I suggest. So that guy, the asshole that you're talking about, yeah, he was on that show Suits. It looks like he's been in a bunch of shows, but this is his second collaboration with Eli Roth. He was also in Hostel. Oh, and Hostel Part 2 as archive footage. Those movies are alright. I think they made a third one.
If they did, it was probably a different director. It was probably something real shitty, but I don't remember.
Yeah, it's Hostel 3, directed by Scott Spiegel.
Oh.
Oh!
Have you ever...
Scott Spiegel, I knew that name. He co-wrote Evil Dead. Evil Dead 2.
Oh,
he's one of Raimi's...
That's interesting.
Yeah, he's one of Raimi's...
Okay.
Oh! Scott Spiegel is in Spider-Man 2. He's the pizza guy.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize
Have you
that.
ever? That's great. Have you ever covered the Hostel movies on the channel?
I haven't
Eh,
seen those in probably 20 years.
we'll do a Eli Roth month.
Did Eli Roth even do the second one? Let me see.
I think he did one and two.
Yes, he did. Have you ever had the thought that Eli Roth kind of looks like Zachary Quinto? Like if you just look at him.
No, but if you told me they were brothers, I'd believe you.
I've also seen the Green Inferno, which was not very good.
A lot of people didn't like that one. But this speaking of TV actors, the rich douchey guy on the right who's dating main girl now. I was watching something else. I was babysitting my younger niece several months ago, and we're watching a Disney Channel thing on Disney Plus. There's this guy. I'm looking. I'm like, this guy's really fucking familiar. And after what clicked, I'm like, oh, he's in Thanksgiving. So he's like one of those Disney TV actors who's now in a horror movie.
That's always funny. Huh. The one guy, Ty Olson, he's been in a bunch of stuff.
Oh.
He's an X too.
Mm. And like I said, this killer, John Carver, a great name. I mean, John Carver, it ties into the holiday, perfect slasher name, but also based on a real guy, like the first governor of this town or whatever, like that is inspired by a true story. And there was a TV spot for this movie that was like John Carver, like was one of the first settlers here, and all these people fucking died, and then when he died, they like discarded his remains, like all this bullshit they probably made up. But I was like, oh, I kind of wish that was more in the movie because I like building up the backstory. But this is great. This right off the bat, like, oh, we're not building up to the big kills. Like, oh god, when
Okay,
when
no, yeah,
she's like
this is a pretty
frozen to
good
the door.
kill.
Oh god, frozen to the door.
I was frozen today.
I always like these gags when people like can't get into their smartphone because they're all covered in blood.
My favorite smartphone gag or just cell phone gag is "See No Evil."
I don't think I've seen that one yet.
Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you because it's like a 15-year-old movie at this point. She's hiding from the killer. That's one of those WWE films from back in the day. And the phone goes off while he's in the room, so he grabs it and shoves it down her throat. And it's one of those old flip phones because this was like 05, 06. It's great.
If it was Art the Clown, he'd do that and then do a bunch of other stuff to her for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the large phone lodged in her throat wouldn't have killed her.
And, you know, I like a killer that's a good showman. You know, you got to put effort into your work to get my respect. This kid is great. I swear, he looks like a mini Steve Buscemi.
No, he so does. Where did you find this guy, Eli Roth? Tell us.
No, I wish he was in the movie more because I think he's great. Instagram's still topical.
Yeah. It's not like Kick Ass where, oh, that's cute. He's on MySpace.
Yeah. How long do you think Instagram lasts before its name is changed to Q or something?
Until Elon Musk buys them. I am convinced Elon Musk only bought Twitter to bankrupt it.
I've never been a Twitter guy, so didn't affect me.
I just used it to keep up with news. I have since deleted it.
Or are you just watching it on Netflix?
Yeah.
I almost bought this. This was on sale, but just only for $15. And I just rewatched this week, and I'm rewatching it now. So that I haven't bought it yet. Maybe next year I'll finally get a physical copy of this. It's nice when there's a thing I watch on Netflix. Sometimes I use it maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Though Arcane season 2 is out, and I still need to watch that.
I need to finish season one. I really like season one so far.
It's great.
I couldn't believe how insane the two lead voice actresses are. Just the name power. I didn't realize that was Haley Steinfeld and
Ella Purnell, because
yeah,
she's in the Fallout show.
yes, she's so
Yeah,
good
which
in
I
that
still
show.
haven't seen. I love this guy. This is probably my favorite side character in the movie. This guy who sells guns. I feel like I've seen this actor in something, but I couldn't find anything on him that I'd seen before. But I think he's pretty. I think this actor's pretty funny. He just looks very familiar. Jessica. Now, last December we did our ranking on favorite Christmas holiday horror movies, which in hindsight was probably a mistake since neither of us had seen Silent Night, Deadly Night yet, and that's kind of a big one, which we've now seen. But
We'll
I like to
redo it.
do. We'll do a redux. I don't know how much time we're gonna have for like Christmas horror stuff, but we're for sure gonna do a commentary on and in the Apocalypse. That's the
I'm waiting.
priority one for us this December.
Waiting.
Yeah.
That'll be the most self-indulgent video I've done since I made you watch Repo.
That's true. No, I want to watch it. I'll get to it. But what I was saying earlier, though, with this kind of harkening back to like those 2000s slasher movies, like plot wise, this borrows a couple things from like the My Bloody Valentine. They have kind of the same setup with like this tortured teenage guy who then is like gone for a year and comes back to the small town. I mean, there's a much longer time skip in that one, but you know what I mean. Like there's some similarities with the plot.
Yeah, I mean it's purposely plugging in for formula.
Yeah, but it's a slasher movie. It's fine. But yeah, he's the guy who got his hand crushed and he was trampled. This guy looks like what I was talking about earlier. He looks like Miles Teller a little bit.
He kind of looks like Zach Braff. A
Yeah,
little
I
bit.
can see that too.
The problem with doing these tropes on purpose is it is not any more compelling when it's done on purpose than when it's done on accident. I
Yeah.
don't care about this relationship drama.
Yeah, I'm kind of whatever about it, but it's the weakest stuff in the movie. But you gotta have the villain lair with all the photos and crazed writings.
I wouldn't mind seeing Eli Roth take on Friday the 13th.
He'd be a good fit.
He likes that trashy, sleazy horror.
Mhm.
Him or Rob Zombie.
Even like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like if they did like a sequel to the remake, like that's something Eli Roth would have been a good fit for, I think.
I thought you were going to say Rob Zombie, and I was like, Austin is going to have a fit that you said that.
I mean, I think Rob Zombie and Texas Chainsaw makes more sense than Halloween, regardless of how you feel about that movie.
No, it isn't a great fit, but it makes sense when you consider that he had just released Devil's Rejects, which was huge.
Yeah,
The
and
Weinsteins are
Texas
like,
Chainsaw
yeah,
already been
you're a horror guy. Make our horror movie. Doesn't matter that it's two different things.
done. I do love these types of scenes when we have a character here who catches on quick, like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm not staying. But
The
it's
best one, and it
still
will
too
never be
late.
topped, is still the dog in Friday 4 that just jumps out a window and leaves the film.
Who nopes right out of it. But this is where this guy fucks up. He should just be running to the front door.
It was in that moment that he knew he fucked up.
On Thanksgiving. Oh, the cat's named Dewey. That's fun.
I thought that was a little bit lower than it actually was, and I was about to wince.
uh, yeah, be over soon, buddy. That's a good decapitation. There's a lot of decapitations in the trailer. I like that we get one in the movie pretty early on. See, I like a killer with the code. He feeds the cat. That's nice. He's not a monster.
He's just ahead of the curve.
And I do think this movie is weird that I'm going to say it, kind of smart in how it adapts that fake trailer and
Mhm.
structures a whole movie around it. Like the dinner scene is the big thing, and obviously there's some Texas Chainsaw homage in there, but I like the way we build that up throughout the movie. We know early on, oh, that's going to be the big set piece in the third act. They have a lot of fun with the holiday and holiday traditions.
Yeah, somebody wanted to make this movie, if you can believe it.
Yeah, sometimes that's all you need. And granted, I do still need to see that Black Friday zombie movie with Bruce Campbell, but that is still something you could mine more for horror movies. You could just do lots of different scenarios with that. Like you said, maybe set it in the 90s or early 2000s, but just, humanity at its worst. It's everything Romero warned us about all the way back in Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, that movie is
Mindless zombie
Dawn of the Dead is
consumerism.
still terrifying. Like going back and watching it.
Mhm. I do kind of wish more of the movie focused on this girl's relationship with her father than the relationship drama, just because this is a little more interesting and he's just really fun to watch.
Yeah.
The movie's really rewarding too if you know that trailer. But they point out that kid and they're like, "Oh, he always plays the turkey in the parade," and you're like, "I know what's gonna happen." That's a really good setup. So, what's your go-to Thanksgiving food? Are you a turkey guy? Are you a ham guy? What any traditions for you? Oh, your audio cut out. I can't hear you now.
Sorry, I muted myself when I was coughing. I forgot. So my preference isn't not what I usually end up with, just because of money. But I prefer duck.
Oh, interesting.
Uh, when I was a kid, my dad couldn't really eat turkey,
Hmm.
so he would always request duck. So my grandma would buy a duck, and he and I would split it. It's so good. Duck is so good.
I don't know if I've ever had it.
If you like dark meat,
Uh, I do. I'll
I
take
much
the.
prefer dark meat.
Yeah.
Nowadays, in a realistic setting, it's turkey. But what I'm waiting for Thanksgiving is the deviled eggs and baked beans.
Mm.
I love deviled eggs. Are you a deviled eggs guy?
Not really, but some people in my family are.
What about you? Turkey, ham, bologna.
I generally prefer ham, but I do like turkey, particularly dark meat, like you said. And then you just the basics like mashed potatoes, corn. Or are you a cranberry sauce guy or not anything? Yeah, that's real hit or miss for people. I've always liked it, but not everybody's cup of tea.
My mom makes homemade stuffing every year. Are you a baked beans guy?
Not really. That's not a big go-to for me.
I really like deviled eggs. Slimy yet satisfying.
We talked over it, but I do like that scene where the jock guy's giving a essay presentation of the class, and the nerdy kid he paid to write the essay for him. He just typed up an essay that the teacher wrote. So that's fun stuff. And like we said, this is very Scream with the teenagers trying to figure out who they can trust.
Teenagers with attitude.
Thanksgiving. Did your town do Thanksgiving parades? Is that something you were ever taken to
Nope.
growing up? I feel like we just did Christmas parades that we went to sometimes when
No,
I
the
was a kid.
closest to
That was
that is
always
just
kind of
watching like the Macy's Day Parade on
the
TV.
Macy's one, yeah.
And even
Yeah,
that,
that's something
you
my
never got
parents
the
usually did.
appeal. Like, cool.
Me neither.
It's a bunch of balloons going down the street. Although one year there was a Goku one that made me.
Oh, that's cool.
No, like I don't know if you know this, but Goku is very much like Superman in Japan.
Hmm.
He was like the host or the mascot of the Olympics when they were over there one year.
Oh, cool.
Or not the not the host. I think it was like the mascot or something. This is the only guy that is putting on a seemingly decent, like, Northern England or New England accent.
Like I said, I do appreciate how this movie hits most of the highlights from that fake trailer, and they're worked in pretty organically,
Yeah.
and they're spaced out well. Like you said, for this one, I do prefer the one in the trailer, but this is still pretty effective. Now, I don't know what your school is like. I don't think anybody could ever get away with this at my school. I don't think the gym or wherever was ever just this unattended. They
Are
just do this.
you talking about like high school specifically?
Yeah,
No, I went to a private school. This would not have
no.
flown.
Yeah, this girl doesn't get it quite as bad as the trailer version does, but it's still brutal. Like that,
Oh,
like it's still. It makes me wince.
the first one does. I wish it had gone on a little longer. That sounds weird.
Meets me too. Yeah, I know, especially for the girls. Me too. There's kind of a reason for it because spoiler alert, she's not technically dead yet. I do like scenes like this, like football's canceled. Are you fucking kidding me? This bullshit. My kid's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I think the problem with this final girl, she doesn't have any. She's very Friday the 13th, where she doesn't do anything until like the last.
I mean, she's a little more proactive, like she's trying to help out, but yeah, like she'll get a lot to do. And like so, I think the actress is fine. There's just not much of a spark there. I think so. She's serviceable, but you know, you've seen better. Also, do you know who Addison Ray is?
I know it sounds familiar.
I think she's like big on TikTok. Like she's like a big singer or performer or something. And that was a big deal with this movie. Like, oh my god, they got Addison Ray. She's a movie. Yeah, she's just girlfriend of Jock. So she's the other girl in this. Like she doesn't do anything. Like she's fine. Like I don't think she's a bad actress or anything, but she's just kind of there.
Hmm.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I have no idea who this is. I mostly watch like memes and stupid shit on TikTok. I don't watch like
Yeah, me too. She's
influencers.
popular on the internets with the kids.
Or like sometimes I like to watch like fan edits just because I respect the editing.
Mhm.
And it brings me back to being like 13 and booting up, Windows Vista and pulling up YouTube to watch Dragon Ball Z to Linkin Park's Bleed It Out or something.
Yeah. I've seen
The good
some
old
good ones.
days.
Yeah. Or like the classic ones people used to do with movies like Batman and Robin, where they put like really epic, serious music in there, trying to sell it. It's like a dark and gritty
I did not see that one.
Batman movie.
I Mine was mostly music, AMV music videos, and the big
Hmm.
popular ones like Dragon Ball Z or Naruto to Linkin Park, Evanescence.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, the shaky cam.
And I get that this is after school. It's so funny. There's just nobody around.
Yeah, how fast is that school empty?
Hey man, there's a killer on the loose. I'm getting the fuck out of there if I'm attending or working
To
there.
to be fair, I got the fuck out of school as quickly as I could.
Yeah, that is a trope that always sticks out to me in any movie or any show that I just never buy, and you see it all the time. Is when like you're in a classroom scene and a kid's like giving a speech or a presentation or something, and then the bell rings and everyone's like, "Oh shit, the bell rang!" Getting up and going. I don't know what school is you was like for you, but for me, like, no, 5 minutes before the bell rings, everybody is staring at the clock, packing their shit up, and getting ready to go. Not once in my life growing up was I ever surprised by a bell ringing. Like, oh shit, class is over. Like, no, you watch that clock like a fucking hawk.
You do,
That's how it was for me.
but the way you fix that is you just establish, because I had this in when I went to private school. We, even if the bell rang, we were not dismissed unless the teacher was done with us. So
Damn,
all you have to do is just add that line, and for me, that's fine.
that fixed it. And to be fair, I did have a few teachers like that, but it was still always like, ugh, and like we'd still be like, ready or quietly getting
This
ready
is
to
clever. I'll give her
get up
that.
and fucking bounce. Yeah, yeah, I like this bit. It would be really funny if it didn't work and she just died here. Like, oh,
Well, movie's
okay,
over. Don't move. Just
yeah,
never
that's where
mind.
you
Whatever
fucked up.
cleverness she had is now gone. He's wearing a mask, you idiot.
His eyes are still kind of exposed. You know what we could do for the channel at some point for like slasher killers? Not like a typical tier list ranking, but a debate of like who would win and like how would that go? Like and we debate like Victor Crowley versus Jason, who wins that, and then so on and so forth, like Michael and Freddy. That could be a fun thing to
I do
debate.
want to do our final little tier list soon.
Oh yeah, totally.
Whenever you get some free time.
Mhm. That's a great gag we talked over. So the ex boyfriend put his coat on her shoulders and to like comfort her, and then new boyfriend walks up and slyly just like pushes the coat off as he hugs her. And that's a good little bit.
Now it's a 2000 slasher movie with the half-assed
Yep.
fight scene.
Not the bad guy. This is my other favorite character. I wish was in the movie where random Russian dad. Yulia, come. Want to know his story?
That'll be the sequel. Imitation. We need Noah here to do the accent.
Like this Torps's guard. I think that's fun.
I respect the fuck out of that reference because nobody goes to the Dio era.
Yeah.
I'm a
Oh, even
huge
I wouldn't have thought.
I'm a huge Dio fan.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I like Black Sabbath, but very casually. I don't know
Oh,
that history super
I'm a
well.
huge Black Sabbath fan, but I'm also just a huge fan of Ronnie James Dio in general. Like I've listened to most of his sampled each of his major bands at this point.
I like that bit. Who's Black Sabbath? Get the fuck off my property.
Shit like that just makes me feel old. Like, do you remember a few years ago when Ozzy did a song with Post Malone? And he had
Yes.
like these kids that were like, "Oh, it was so cool of Post Malone to make this Ozzy guy like famous." And I was just like, "Oh, I hate
Well,
it
it's
here."
funny. We've talked about this before. The first time I ever hear that song is in the trailer for the Crow remake,
Oh,
and I was like, oh, I don't like this. And then Post Malone, he doesn't kick it until like the very end. I'm like, oh, there it is. There's the auto tune. But I
I
kind of
can't.
take that song.
I can't deal with it.
And but what we talked about was you were sick of it. Was it on like WWE or
It was on one of those
there?
WWE games, and I had to end up disabling. I was like, I can't hear this again. I will claw out my eardrums.
Yeah, I love music. I love listening to music. Most of the music I get is just through movies or trailers. Like that's how I
Robert,
discover new songs.
I'm going to send you all of the songs now.
Oh no.
I was actually listening to some Blue Oyster Cult earlier.
Mm. I have heard there are two songs that have stuck around,
That everyone
have been
plays.
popular that everyone plays.
Well, it's I know. Don't Fear the Reaper is the other one. Burning for You.
Maybe it sounds right.
That's the one that's in Let Me In.
Gotcha. Right.
And I get all that from my dad because he grew up in that era. I love those articles that are like, "Oh, this is the first movie to be shot all on an iPhone," and it's like an iPhone hooked up to this gigantic fucking piece of equipment. I'm like, why didn't
Doesn't
you use
count.
why didn't you just use a regular camera? Like, what does this accomplish?
Also, when you can afford like studio lighting and these other components.
No, I want an actual movie made on a phone where it's just a couple idiots in their backyard. No lighting, no boom mics. And this is why I will never do contacts. There is not enough
Oh
money in the
god,
world to have me push little pieces of plastic into my eye.
when I was a kid, I was like, oh god, I hope I never need to use contacts. That doesn't look fun. If my eyes ever go bad, I'm just using glasses and going old school if that ever happens.
Yeah, and it's like at this point, like I look weird without them.
I don't think my dad ever switched to contacts, but he eventually got surgery and has normal functioning eyes now.
So do you think this was like a green card marriage for this guy, or like is he hooked up with the
I don't know.
mob?
I want to know the story. Yulia. Ah,
That so we were talking about it. You watch the Final Destination movies. If there's one thing I will give for despite being a shitty movie, is that eye laser scene makes me
that's
oh
five.
god. Oh, is that five?
Yes.
Never mind. Fuck you four.
Oh God, this gag. This
Oh.
it's painful. The corn on the cob holders in the ears. Oh,
But no, that eye
oh,
laser
jeez.
scene in five is oh god.
It's brutal.
Kill me. No, that oh
Oh, like, I can feel that. I'm like, ah, I don't like
I don't like it. I don't want it.
it. Yeah, I don't think the dad's dead, so fuck it. Let's bring him back in the sequel. I want to see more of it.
He can be the killer this time.
Yeah, put the phone down.
Shoot him.
I don't trust this guy's aim. He's gonna hit that girl. But he left the safety on. Oh
Oh
Jesus! She did not deserve this. She
no,
did
she.
not deserve.
No, that okay. I take back what I
Oh
said
God,
about the kills. That is great.
yeah. This strikes that balance of being really fucked up and effective and brutal, and also kind of funny. What do I do,
I think
Chase?
he's
Like,
dead.
do I? Yeah. It's like she might make it. just just gotta put those intestines back in there.
Duct tape.
Just sew it up. Duct tape. Yeah. It would be really funny though if there was an after credits scene that confirmed Elio was still alive. Now I will say, think never been like a top like top
You're breaking up. What?
was a good cook.
Say that again.
Oh, I was just saying Thanksgiving. Never been a top tier holiday for me. Like, yeah, it's
I'm
like
very much a grouch when it comes to holidays. I really just like Halloween.
Halloween's great. I'm a Halloween and Christmas gay.
Christmas anymore. Just another day to me. Halloween, I just like it's more of the vibes. I don't care about the actual day.
No, that's why you need more Christmas horror movies, you know, get you in that Christmas spirit.
Yeah,
Terrifier 3.
I remember one time right after Iceland kills his first silver screen camera, I replaced "Merry Christmas" with "Merry Xmas" because that's the name of their Silent Night, Deadly Night song. I had some people so mad at me.
Oh god. Yeah. People get really weird about that stuff. There was also this thing, I don't know if you ever saw this or around this. Like a couple years ago, people were making like suddenly this really big stink out of like, why is it always happy holidays anymore? They're fucking ruining Christmas. And it's like happy holidays, like as expression, that goes back like 100. This is thing. People are so weird about that stuff. But now we're at the parade scene, which matches the fake trailer pretty close. So it's really cool.
Check your messages.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, growing up with Thanksgiving, you know, like I said, my mom's a great cook, and we would host a lot. So we, for a lot of years growing up, would have like the big Thanksgiving gatherings on our house, which were a nightmare. But at least my mom's a good cook, and uh, most of those family members I don't really see anymore. I just do Thanksgiving with my friends now.
So for most of my life, it was always on my mom's side was the one that did the big, get-togethers. Because my dad worked third shifts. My grandma on my dad's side was a Jehovah's Witness. So she didn't really celebrate. She like
Hmm.
entertained it for us, but like she just make a duck and some other stuff. But even then, on my mom's side, it was mostly just like close family. And I got like close family and like their family, and I hated
Hmm.
it. I am not good with people that I don't know very well.
I know.
Oh, did Noah finally show up? I thought this movie was
Well, he's on the
shorter.
live chat. It's like an hour and
What do
40
you mean
minutes.
shorter? We're like an hour in.
Yeah. We weren't that late.
Noah, we need you to do your accent.
And this scene reminds me of I Know What You Did Last Summer with the parade.
Yeah,
Uh,
except actually
it,
good.
yeah, I think that movie's okay, but it could have been a
I
lot better.
don't like that movie.
Oh god.
This is so good.
That's a good, and that got me in the theater because you're not expecting it for the guy dressed as the clown to be the one with the axe. It was like, oh Jesus. No, that's a really good decapitation. Oh Jesus.
It is an hour 47. Oh
Yeah, I mean
god,
this movie.
that's a great one.
Yeah.
These kids are gonna need therapy in the worst way.
It's so fucked up. I will say again, if I'm going to nitpick this movie, it could be like 5 to 10 minutes shorter. But I still enjoy it. It's one of those things where it is doing a Terrifier thing where it's not about the quick kills all the time like you get in a Friday the 13th movie. It's like most of the kills are drawn out. Like we are sitting with the gore because Eli Roth really likes to do that. So as a result, like that does make the
I
movie a little
mean,
longer than your typical slasher.
Cabin Fever has not aged well. There's a couple scenes in that movie that still make my skin crawl.
And like I said, this movie has a lot of fun with the holiday, like preparing this lady to be cooked,
You know what, Robert?
and she's not dead.
This will be completely off topic and self indulgent. But what do you say we do Cabin Fever next Sunday since we did this?
Um,
Get
I'm
it out of the
potentially
way.
down. Yeah, let's put a pin in that. I want to say there was something else that might come up, but I'm down.
Something else.
Oh God, I don't want to be in this situation.
No, this is supremely messed up. The kills are better than I remember. I will say that.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good.
Do you think she was a census taker?
Oh.
Do you think she tried to test him?
Oh, another thing I want to talk about. Um, when I saw this movie theatrically, the weird thing about that experience. So I don't think it was opening weekend, but the movie was out like for a few days, and it's in one of the smaller theaters, and I'm surrounded by children. It's like me, two adults, and all the kids they brought, and I'm like sitting between a bunch of kids, and it made for a really weird, uncomfortable experience. And I'm like, did these families just not know what type of? They was just like, oh, it's Thanksgiving. Let's take the family. And none of them left. They seemed to enjoy it, so that's cool. And the kids were behaved. They weren't like the worst. It was just a
No, the
very
worst I
weird
ever had
experience.
wasn't even a horror movie. I went to see Prince Caspian in theaters.
Oh,
And they brought a bunch of kids, and that movie is really dark for what it
yeah.
is. And they were screaming and running, and I was just like, "Oh my god!"
When I took my oldest niece to see Avengers Infinity War, I had already seen it, so it was my second viewing, but I took her to see it. And there were these two kids that some family just dropped off and were there unattended. We're just running up the aisles, kicking seats. It was a fucking nightmare.
Let me tell you about my Endgame theatrical experience.
No, I don't think I've heard
I
the
got
story.
tickets at super last minute. I was literally front row in an
Oh god,
IMAX.
in a 3 hour movie.
So I'm sitting there like,
No. I've done a couple of those,
"Oh, it was terrible."
yeah.
But
That's
damn it, I did
amazing.
not want that movie spoiled for me.
Mm. Yeah, I saw that movie like that Saturday, so I was just off the internet for like the prior 24 hours.
'Cause what was it? There was a movie, and it's gotten worse like, for the last few years. Um, it was some movie that I was really excited for, and I just opened TikTok out of habit, and the first thing that popped into my feed was some asshole in a theater recording the movie,
Yeah.
and it was like a big death scene. And I was like,
It do be like that sometimes.
what I liked about TikTok is like breaks at work are never long enough for a video, like a YouTube video. You could scroll through a 90-second TikTok for 15 minutes.
Hmm. Oh my god.
I hope this gets a sequel because this did very well, I think, at the
Mhm.
box office.
Uh, I think that's confirmed. I think this is getting a sequel. I think that's Eli Roth's next movie.
Can it please be two thanks to giving?
This is so fucked up. This girl has been stabbed and is in a refrigerator, and she's like, "Don't just, I'm just gonna leave you. Don't fuck up my escape." And, I think his mask looks pretty cool here. The side's kind of burned a little
Yeah,
now.
it reminds me of the Halloween mask in uh, Kills.
And then kills, yeah. Yeah, Michael looks awesome in that one. Yeah, I got those NECA action figures. They do a lot of horror ones. I got the 2018 Halloween Michael, and my friend got the Kills version of that figure. It looked really cool. He also has the Part 7 Jason, which I'm really jealous of. Fuck. I should get that one.
No, so that we'll get a sequel. Can Eli Roth make Borderlands 2 instead? No,
uh,
please, God, no.
oh.
I still
Oh,
gotta,
God.
I still gotta
Pitchfork
watch
from
that
the back.
movie. That's such a great take on the like drag.
Mm.
I'm glad
Oh,
that's
get
a
Shield
cliche
fly.
that I'm glad that's a cliche that we're not trying to subvert. It's like no, we're just gonna do
Yeah.
the. I hope
Yeah, it's a
he
classic.
re-seasoned her. It's like he was in the mud
Uh,
and the dirt.
yeah. Eh, when all else fails, try pleading. Unfortunately, if a killer has thought this, implanted this for this long, your chances of talking them out of it are slim.
And he doesn't wussy out and have him kill her before. No, she just burns to death.
No, this is really fucked up. She might be all right.
I love that he just has like a stack of those masks.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta have extra.
I love the little. Pop. Noah, do you think the sequel will be Thanksgiving meets Thanksgiving? No, it is.
Oh
It's going to
God,
be Halloween versus Thanksgiving.
Battle of the Holidays.
Hey, I will defend that first Thanksgiving movie. It's really funny.
I haven't seen it yet.
I can't defend the third one because it's nonsense. No, that turkey is so like foul mouthed, and that movie is disgusting.
Uh, fun fact. I don't know if it's one of them. Do you know about the voice actor?
Uh-uh.
Now I haven't seen these movies, so I don't know which one. One of the evil turkeys in the Thanksgiving movies, the voice is the voice of the boss in Smiling Friends.
Ooh,
So that guy's
crazy.
doing good.
That's an upgrade.
Yeah.
And I like I liked Thanksgiving well enough.
Oh no. Now we're doing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Wait a minute. Is that police guy the one from Scream 3? Is he the killer?
I'll never tell. Patrick Dempsey. Even though this is your third viewing of this.
Yeah, I don't remember. Noah and I finished Buffy season 5 last night, and it was really funny to see
Oh.
his reaction.
Oh, cool.
You reminded me of that because there's a song in the musical called I'll Never Tell. My brain works in mysterious ways. These cops are straight out of the Saw movies. How do you not remember the killer? I don't know. I've seen this twice.
So that scene is both the Silence of the Lambs classic fake out with like the location switch where oh no they're at the wrong place. It's also a Mission Impossible 5 gag where that has a scene where like they're tracing Ethan Hunt, but he like has a phone set up recording a thing. Where
Um,
it's the same
that's
thing.
also that's also a big thing in one of the Saw movies.
Mm.
Is they get to the house that the main things are. They get to the place where the main things are going. Although the twist in that one is it's not a different location. It's they've been watching pre-recorded footage. It's all already happened.
Oh.
I thought that was a fun take on that.
Hmm? Well, this is fucked up. And now I think the cheerleader's dead. I think. Oh Jesus! And now the killer is talking, but he has the voice modulator.
No,
But it's
no,
only
he
really for this
says,
scene.
"I'm sorry."
But yeah, this is the big set piece. Oh god. I know this sequence turned some people off. They thought it got a little too gross. It kind of needs to go here. I, I think it's effective enough.
Eli Roth movie. What were you expecting? I don't know. People are really weird with that lately. It's like, oh, I know these kind of movies typically go really far, but I'm gonna get upset that it goes really far.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm sure the jock guy's gonna make it. Oh, yeah, at least he went viral.
He's so punny. See, he talks. You could make Halloween versus Thanksgiving.
Yeah, got a point. This scenes like this feel like what Texas Chainsaw 2022 was going for, but this is that done well.
Yeah. No, I don't know if you know this, but John Carver is about to get canceled, man.
Oh, so do you think Army Hammer enjoys this movie?
Yes.
Just wanna. You think this is what
And
he
then Shia
fantasizes
LaBeouf.
about? Oh God. Like I said, he's a showman. He's making a night to remember, and that's what you want for a holiday. Oh God, this is so gross. Ugh. She looks like she's completely cooked. So, this one or the Texas Chainsaw one? If you were a
What's
guest at the table, which one are you picking?
uh this one? Texas Chainsaw. The food looked gross. Like this is gross, but like it's cooked at least.
You got a good point.
No, I'm sure it would be different in practice, but just in thought, it's like, yeah, if you're gonna force me to eat it, at least it's just meat. Oh, this shouldn't be on the internet.
No, you should make a short out of that. That's a good clip.
Yeah, I gotta do some of those tomorrow. Ooh,
Oh God, shit like that always makes me wince. You can have like the goriest shit ever, like decapitations and explosions. I'm fine. When somebody like breaks their ankle or the wrist or something, that's when I'm like, I can feel it. It's hard to watch. Like we've talked about this before, but a movie we love, From Beyond, that has some of the grossest, weirdest, most fucked up shit you ever seen in a movie. But the most painful scene for me to watch is at the very end with Barbara Crampton when her knee is busted and bleeding out. I'm like, God, like it looks so real.
The one I always think of is the Dark Knight one. You don't see anything, you just hear it, and it's ugh.
Mm. That movie is very effective with its sound design and how it implies violence. Oh my god. Why was her ex boyfriend just like the killer?
I'm like 75% sure it's this cop.
Why is it because there's 20 minutes of movie left?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's fun seeing Patrick Dempsey in another horror movie. Because he's an actor who's just not in a lot of things that'd be like in your wheelhouse. Like he's a leading man in a lot of like romance movies, dramas, stuff like that. So Scream 3 and this are kind of an exception for him, but it's nice that he's still willing to do stuff like this. Oh, and he's also the bad guy in Transformers 3 for some reason.
Ooh, I if Transformers 2 didn't exist, that'd probably be the worst one.
um, the second half makes up for it because there's good stuff in the second half.
That second half just devolves into like noise at some point.
Yeah, but Optimus Prime as a war criminal is really fun. I like that stuff.
Where he just
What?
brutally murders Sentinel Prime.
It's my favorite scene in those movies.
I thought it was gonna be where the fourth one where they take like 20 minutes to explain the Romeo and Juliet
Oh,
law.
Don, I knew that's where you were going. Fuck off. Oh my god, that one I never saw. 4 and 5.
I have seen
I was
I
out by
have
that
seen
point.
both of them. But I was completely wasted during 5, so I don't remember any of it.
So you got to rewatch it.
I don't want to.
I just know that Mark Wahlberg's the last night. He has Excalibur or something at the end.
No, is that true? Is Mark Wahlberg the last night?
You're the lore. You're the Transformers movie lore expert. Also, I know that Earth is Unicron. Do you remember that twist?
I don't remember anything about that movie. I had
I
had
haven't seen the movie and I got
large amounts of whiskey at that point.
Oh my god.
I
And
have
this
seen
is
kind of
why
a weird reappraisal of those movies. Like people are now like, "Oh, those are good." I'm like, no.
they have good moments depending on when you're talking about.
That first
I
one is the
still
only one that I think comes close to being like a decent action movie.
Yeah, I still like the first one, like unironically. I think it's an okay movie.
It is decent.
Yeah. Yeah, all these slasher killers, they're really lucky for the first two thirds, and it's always in the third act when they start fucking up.
Okay, I was wrong, but it was a police officer. I do remember this now, but I don't remember who this guy is.
Yeah, I when I first saw this, I called it pretty early on. I've seen enough of these to know when you have a character like, ah, be careful who you trust, or I need your help. You're like, that guy. That guy's the killer. Oh my god. Patrick Dempsey and Gina Gershon were gonna have a baby.
And that leads to Thanksgiving cannibalism.
I I love when you have a slasher killer who has like a big revenge scheme, but also it's like, your motivations are kind of understandable, but they also take it way too far. Where you're like, no, you were psychotic to begin with. This was an excuse.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't buy it.
I th-
It's
if you're
just
gonna go as big as like the cooking scene, you can't try to give them a relatable backstory. It doesn't work.
I think it's fine. It's just funny. The reason why this twist with the cop does work for me, if you are going to look at it logistically, it at least makes sense how he has all this equipment and like different firearms and like knows what he's doing with. So that kind of tracks.
No, I'm fine with
Jason,
it being a cop. I don't need the like backstory.
I was fine with it. I think you get enough.
Jessica, I'm having Until
Jess, I
Dawn
know
PTSD.
Jessica. Oh, for me, it's Jessica Jones with Purple Man.
Oh yeah, 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 that
No,
too.
Jessica.
Jessica,
Hey, he said the thing. There'll be no leftovers.
where are all the other cops? Like,
They're having a break. Yeah, it's been a long day.
I am so happy he went full accent for this last bit.
Yeah, and this has a we're doing the Friday 13th final couple, kind of that a lot of those later Friday movies do. But this guy could have been developed more. It's that tricky thing where he's a suspect, and is kind of your fake out killer review reveal. But as a result, that what you're left with this character is not that interesting. And the final girl who, like I said, I think is fine. Oh my god, he brought an axe to a musket fight.
You have a gun, use it.
I mean, to be fair, it's a musket.
Figure out how to use it.
They did set that up. They are going to pay that off. Did
Is it? Noah, are the accents in this movie accurate, in your expert opinion?
This is what we need to. Oh my god, this is so over the top. I kind of love
Jessica!
it. Jessica.
They should get. Do you know how badly I want David Tennant in like a slasher movie?
Dude, he'd be great.
Him
I
and
don't.
Javier Bardem.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean Javier Bardem. He's just played so many villains.
I know, but I need him as a
He's like
slasher villain so badly. Do you know how cool that would be?
he'd be great. Yeah, I don't know if it'd be your thing, but he is great in No Country for Old Men.
I love that movie.
Oh, okay.
Funnily enough,
Yeah,
uh, my letterbox review of that is I need Javier Bardem in a horror movie.
it's funny.
I actually pre-ordered the 4K during the 50% off sale. And I was gonna say when you brought up -1, I'm so sad I had to cancel my pre-order. I had the Steelbook pre-ordered.
Oh,
Yep.
that blows.
Noah, how do you not
I'm
remember
just
what
gonna.
they sound like? I've only seen this 3 times and I remember how they sound.
We talked over it, but that ending's very My Bloody Valentine 3, where they're like, "Oh, there's no trace of it, nothing," and you see like a guy walking out in the fireman outfit, and you're like, "Ah, he survived." And now our obligatory end of the movie jump scare.
Sequel bait.
Yeah, I mean, not really. It's just a dream sequence, but
That was awful looking.
it can't. It's dumb. Hey, they at least confirm that it's just a dream sequence. It's not literal. And now we have a MCU style in credits montage. I kind of love it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, they could go either way with the sequel. They could bring Patrick Dempsey back. They could just do a copycat killer. I'm curious what he's gonna do with it.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you're watching after the fact, thanks for hanging out. And we will see you guys on the next one.
Later.